What up? I'm Xarkun. This is World of Warships Legends. Got Norm Scott on the screen here. He's the commander I'm using for the Tier 7 American Light Cruiser USS Cleveland. In the following game, alright, we're gonna be on Atlantic, capture the base mode. We're in a division with two of my fellow community contributors, the one and only Tactic Angel and Chiligamez 17, who recently hit 1,100 subscribers. This was on his 1,000 subscriber special stream. You can see him over there in Le Fantasque. Tactic Angel is in the Bismarck. This is one hell of a game, at least for me. This is definitely the most damage I've ever done in USS Cleveland. Of course, with Norm Scott, we have the equilibrium of power skill selected, and that is going to come in handy. If you weren't convinced on my last video about the Cleveland and equilibrium of power, then this one is probably going to convince you. It might even get you thinking that this ship is kind of OP now that its HE shells, with the use of equilibrium of power, can penetrate 32 millimeters of armor. So right off the bat, we land a salvo for 5k on that Yamato and start one fire. And now we're switching fire to the other Yamato. We've done 14,000 damage in just a couple seconds. And I'll tell you what, we're going to get more. Now, as far as the strategy of this game goes, it's pretty straightforward. I'm letting my division mates go out and do their thing along with the rest of the team. But I've noticed a large collection of battleships in this corner, and furthermore, I have noticed a nice collection of islands which I can hide behind. As long as a Udachi doesn't come out to spot me. Oh, it looks like there's actually two destroyers here. So we take half the hit points from Udachi number 1. We take a look at Udachi number 2. He is not visible anymore, but we've got the radar, so good luck getting out of the way before we kill you here. Another half of his health taken away. Chiligamez finishes off the first Udachi. The second one is going to beach himself, so he's a sitting duck here. If I could only aim my shots right, we'd be able to take him out. There he goes. So right off the bat, 2 destroyers off the board. Now we don't have to worry about being spotted. We can post up behind this island and just start bombing on some legendary battleships, going after the Yamato again. And, you know, the Yamato's fairly heavily armored, so as you can see by the hit indicator there, we are getting quite a few shatters as the shells hit, I suppose, the side armor of the ship and the turrets. But when they hit the superstructure, no problem penetrating, doing full penetration damage. Starting a couple fires, we're already up to 7. So, as you can see, the fire penalty on EOP, pretty much nothing. I am telling you right now, I think it needs to be increased from 2%. It needs to be, I don't actually think it needs to be a percentage off of your total percentage of fire chance. I think what it needs to be is something like your HE shells are, oh wow, 6k over there on Gauzy Gaming, who managed to get into this game in his Vanguard. That is painful to look at, and I'm so sorry. Anyway, I think the 30% increase to the HE shell penetration needs to be balanced by a 50% reduction in your chance to start a fire. Meaning, if a cruiser has a 20% chance to start fire and they equip Equilibrium of Power, that fire chance goes down to 10%. I think that's what the penalty needs to be, or at least something closer to that, because frankly, it's just disgusting to be able to get this kind of damage with 152mm guns shooting high explosive shells and also start fires. And look how many fires we're already up to right now, 14. So it's not like we're noticing any kind of reduction in the fire. We get the Witherer award there, and we already have the Confederate. I can tell you today I logged on to the World of Warships Legends Facebook group page, and I saw someone complaining about cruisers. He said, in a little bit more colorful terminology than I'm going to use here, he said, cruisers need to stop hiding behind islands like cowards, and they need to get out there and support their battleships. Well, we do have some battleships, I think, in sort of a position to shoot at this cluster of battleships out here. And I'm shooting these battleships. I'm lighting them on fire. I've got fire damage going on one of them. And I've killed a destroyer, took half the health away from another one. I can't really get into position to kill that other enemy destroyer that was spotted out there without putting myself at risk to be deleted by one of these Yamatos or perhaps the Vanguard out there. So that's all to say, I don't exactly know what people who say this kind of thing want from a cruiser. If my unyielding rain of fire upon these Yamatos and this Vanguard out here does not constitute support for my teammates, and support in the form of just raw damage dealing, then I don't know what does. We've got 195,000 damage right now. We're going to break 2K here. If the battleships out there fighting the Yamatos and the Vanguard believe that somehow this is not a useful thing for me to be doing, then I don't know how to help you. Furthermore, as far as hiding behind islands go, or camping goes, it's like I'm in a very lightly armored cruiser. What's going to happen to me if one of these Yamatos, or even if the Vanguard, shoots me from any angle? And there Chiligamez takes down the Vanguard, leaving only the two Yamatos left. Not a single person on our team has died. What's going to happen to me, though, if I go and expose myself to direct fire from a battleship like a Yamato or a Vanguard? Well, I'm going to get wrecked pretty quickly. So why wouldn't I post up behind an island, maintain that position as long as it is viable, and deal damage to the enemy? You're not a coward in a cruiser for using tools that the game gives you, like your high shell arcs and islands for cover and concealment. Using those does not make you a coward. It makes you smart. So, all I'm going to say to that is make sure you're playing the cruiser smart. You're not trying to play fair. You're not trying to go one-on-one against a battleship and expose yourself to their guns so that they have a fair chance to hit you. No. You want to get the most defensive position you can find, and you want to use it to your advantage for as long as you can, while still having an influence over the battle. And dealing a metric crap ton of damage like this is having influence over the battle. These two Yamatos were posted up side by side there for a moment. I believe they were both running the Will to Rebuild legendary skill, which is somewhat exploitable in situations like this. It's basically an infinite heal after your ship gets down to 20%. Not enough to save them from all this focus fire, though. Both go down We end the battle with 212,000 damage done. Certainly the most I have gotten in the Cleveland. And we got 3,400 base XP. Not a bad game. Hope you enjoyed. If so, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.